Welcome. In this video, if we buy 500,000 Zbcn today, what will happen in the future? We will analyze it. Don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to like, and please watch to the end to understand.
But first, let's analyze Zbcn.
When carefully examining the chart, it becomes clear that a long-standing, highly consistent and reliable uptrend structure has formed. This uptrend indicates that price movements have been progressing by forming higher lows and higher highs at regular intervals, meaning the overall market bias is upward. Such a structure instills confidence in investors and is generally considered a strong signal of a bull market. The fact that the price has repeatedly bounced upward after touching this rising trend line shows that the trend is functioning effectively and that the market recognizes this line as a dynamic support level. Looking at current price action, it appears that the price is once again approaching this rising trend line and attempting to hold above it. According to technical analysis, this is a critical stage. If the price manages to stay above this trend line, there is a high probability that the upward momentum will continue. In such a case, buyer confidence increases and higher levels can be targeted. However, if the price breaks below this trend line, it may signal a potential shift in market direction, leading to short-term panic selling, liquidations, and loss of momentum. However, based on technical analysis principles, it is more likely that the price will bounce upward again after respectfully touching the trend line. Especially when such structures are reinforced with formations like ascending channels or bullish patterns supported by rising trend lines, the health of the trend becomes even clearer. In technical analysis, these types of trend structures are called trendline-supported price actions and are typically considered reliable reference points during long-term uptrends. One of the most important details to consider here is how many times the trend line has been tested in the past. The more a trend line is tested, the stronger it is considered to be. The trust in that line increases accordingly in the eyes of investors. On the chart currently being analyzed, the rising trend line has been tested multiple times in the past, and each time the price successfully bounced from it. This indicates that the trend line is functioning as a strong support level and is taken seriously by market participants. In this context, it is also important to be prepared for potential scenarios in case the trend line is broken to the downside. If the trend line breaks, the price may pull back to lower support levels. In that situation, previous low points or horizontal support zones should be closely monitored. However, based on the current price structure and the general positive market sentiment, it seems more technically sound and logical that the price will bounce off this level and initiate another upward move rather than break the trend line. The rising trend line serves not only as a support, but also as a psychological boundary. If the price moves below this line, the bullish sentiment among investors may weaken. Therefore, it is extremely important that this line holds. Maintaining this level indicates that confidence in the market remains intact and that buyers are still in control. In addition to all these technical arguments, the current rising trend line can also represent an opportunity point for investors. In such touches, the risk-reward ratio is usually favorable for the investor. Because the stop-loss level, just below the trend line, can be clearly defined. This allows the investor to minimize risk while maximizing potential gains. For this reason, every healthy touch of the trend line can be viewed as a long position opportunity. One of the most critical things investors need to focus on here is patience. Sometimes, when the price reaches these trend lines, it may consolidate for a while, move sideways, or exhibit small wicks in both directions. However, as long as the overall structure remains intact, these movements are part of the bigger picture and indicate that the energy needed for the continuation of the uptrend is being gathered. In conclusion, we have a strong and consistent rising trend line, and the price is currently approaching it. If the price holds this level and starts moving upward again, it could be a signal of new highs. Especially when considering past reactions, a similar scenario could lead the price to gain momentum from this trend line and test significant resistance levels. Therefore, this trend line is not only technically important, but also strategically critical and should be closely monitored by investors. But we can't base our analysis solely on trends. Let's take a look at other metrics as well. Stay tuned.
I'm interrupting the video for a moment, friends, because BitTunix Exchange has a great campaign.
Here's how it works. After registering on the exchange via the link in the description and completing KYC, if you deposit $100 for your first deposit, you will receive a $20 bonus. If you deposit $500, you will receive a $100 bonus, and if you deposit $1,000, you will receive a $200 bonus. I think this is an excellent opportunity for leverage trading. For more details, you can read the articles below. The link is in the description.
When closely examining the chart, it is clearly observable that a cup and handle formation, widely recognized and holding a significant place in technical analysis literature, is gradually taking shape. The importance of this formation in technical analysis stems from a long-standing structure that has been widely accepted among investors and traders. Especially known for signaling potential upward movements, the healthy formation of this pattern accurately reflects both investor psychology and price behavior. Looking at the current price action, we can see that the cup portion of this structure is largely complete. The cup represents the period where the price, after a significant drop from a previous high, forms a bottom over time and then gradually climbs back toward the same high. In other words, the price initially pulled back sharply from a certain level, digested that decline, and has now gradually recovered to a point close to its previous high. The structure formed during this process represents a classic cup pattern. However, the formation is not complete with just the cup. For the full potential to be realized, the second phase of the structure, the handle, must also form. At this stage, price action appears to be in the process of constructing that handle. After approaching the top of the cup, the price pauses slightly, possibly due to profit-taking or uncertainty, resulting in a mild pullback. This is a healthy and expected development in the nature of the formation. The handle represents a stage where investors are making their final decisions, the market takes a brief breather, and prepares for a new upward wave. Following this brief period of sideways or slightly downward movement, a breakout supported by volume is expected. Specifically, when the handle is formed within a narrow range and low volume, it signals a potentially stronger breakout. If the volume increases and the price decisively breaks above the top of the cup and handle formation is considered complete. According to technical analysis, from this point on, the target is calculated by adding the distance between the lowest point of the cup and its peak to the breakout level. In this context, the target price level has been identified as 0.064. This level represents a potential target that could technically be reached following the upward breakout of the cup and handle formation. Of course, market conditions, volume, macro developments, and overall investor interest can influence the timeline to reach this target. However, when strictly adhering to the technical structure, the probability of an upward move toward this level appears quite strong. Additionally, completing this formation may positively shift investor psychology. The successful formation of a cup and handle often signifies growing confidence among investors and that the market is ready for upward movement. If the breakout is successful, with new investors entering the market, the price may accelerate even further. The current development phase of the formation should be monitored closely. In particular, the lows of the handle mark critical support levels. If a breakout occurs without falling below these levels, a highly favorable technical picture emerges. However, if the price dips below the handle, it may provide early warning signs that the formation is failing. Therefore, when tracking the formation, it's important not only to focus on the target, but also to consider support and stop-loss levels, which will benefit the investor. This technical structure also serves as a great example of how market dynamics operate. The cup and handle formation visually demonstrates the effect of supply and demand on price. The slow recovery in the cup portion indicates that buyers are gradually re-entering the market, while the temporary pullback during the handle suggests that selling pressure is subsiding. Finally, a breakout from the formation indicates that buyers have taken full control and that the upward movement is gaining momentum. In conclusion, the current technical outlook clearly shows that a cup and handle formation is developing. If the price completes this formation in a healthy manner, a significant upward move is technically expected. The price level of 0.064 is being observed as the target for this formation, and reaching this level could potentially yield a highly satisfying return for investors. Naturally, since markets are dynamic, it's crucial to continuously monitor the formation and breakout, updating the analysis as new developments arise.
This calculation regarding the potential value increase of Zbcn represents a significant scenario that long-term investors should keep in mind. Looking at the current trading level of this coin, namely 0.00039, it is clearly seen that an investor looking to purchase 500,000 units of this coin would need approximately $1,950 in capital. This amount reflects the total cost obtained by multiplying the current price by the desired quantity of coins. At this point, the investor evaluates whether they can profit from a potential price increase by purchasing a certain amount of coins with their available capital. often considering whether the asset can reach its targeted price levels through various technical and fundamental analysis methods. Accordingly, structures such as the cup and handle formation or theories like Elliott wave theory are commonly utilized. For this particular coin, based on the drawn potential formation, the target price appears to be $0.064. If this price level is reached, the total value of the investor's 500,000 coin portfolio would increase dramatically. The calculation here is quite simple, but due to the potential for significant profits it represents, it holds strategic importance. If an investor holds 500,000 coins and the price reaches $0.064, the total market value of the portfolio would climb to approximately $32,000, a substantial figure. This means the investor would achieve an extraordinary return on the initial $1,950 investment. To better understand the size of this return, a roughly $2,000 investment reaching a value of $32,000 at the target price represents a 16x increase. This equates to 1,600% gain. In other words, for every dollar invested, the investor would gain $16 if the price action moves toward the stated technical target. Such an increase can occasionally be seen in low market cap coins that have not yet been widely discovered by mainstream investors. However, for this scenario to materialize, many factors must align, such as a positive market atmosphere, increased investor interest, the project's successful execution of its roadmap, and favorable overall market conditions. As with all such target price calculations, caution is essential. The crypto market is an environment with extremely high volatility. Just as prices can spike rapidly, they can also drop suddenly. Therefore, when setting technical targets, investors should consider not only potential profits, but also the associated risks. Still, scenarios like this offer powerful and motivating visualizations for investors. The potential to earn large profits with small capital is especially appealing to many retail investors. For example, purchasing 500,000 coins in this case might not seem like a massive investment in the crypto space, but if the right project is chosen at the right time, even small amounts can grow to significant values over time. This also serves as a concrete example of how patience, strategic timing, and proper analysis can make a major difference in an investor's portfolio. Furthermore, this type of investment allows investors to acquire a large number of coins without risking all their capital. Low-priced coins make it possible to take substantial positions, which can offer strong return opportunities in the event of upward price movements. However, it must be emphasized again, for this potential gain to be realized, the technical structure must play out, market psychology must remain positive, and the project must continue to build trust. Therefore, investment scenarios like the one presented here can be both inspiring and educational from a strategic perspective. Whether or not an investor chooses to pursue such an opportunity depends not only on technical analysis, but also on their personal risk tolerance, capital structure, and market outlook. But one thing is clear. Buying 500,000 coins today would cost approximately $1,950, and if the target level of $0.064 is reached, the portfolio would be worth $32,000. This level of potential return can offer a significant morale boost, and considering such targets can help investors develop more motivated strategies in the market.
Yes, friends, I hope you liked the video. If you subscribe to my channel and like the video, more videos will be coming. Be careful in your investments, analyze the risks correctly, and always take strategic steps. I will be with you with different analyses, investment opportunities, and technical information in my videos. I wish you all a lot of profit. See you soon.